Welcome to Pro Bull Talk, where it's all talk and no bull. Get ready to slide and ride.
All right, let's go, boys. Hustle. Come on now. Let's go. Woo. Lay down now. Go.
This episode is brought to you by Sutherland Logistics.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to another great episode of Pro Bull Talk, where it's all talk and no bull. And we're gathered here today with the same old crew, the one and only Mr. Cody Hart, Blake Skaggs, Minnie Buckers, and the one and only Briar Hart. But today we got a special guest, and I was excited for this show. We get to bring on the one, the only, Mr. Brian Pee Wee Herman is with us here today.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Pee Wee's had a long, illustrious career, a lot longer than he is tall.
Exactly.
But I was fortunate enough to ride with him a little bit towards both the end of mine and his career. But Pee Wee, man, it's good to see you. What have you been up to, Pods?
Man, like I said, it's great to see you guys. Great to talk to you, Cody. Just living life after bull riding. That's all I'm doing.
It ain't that easy, is it?
And no, it's not. It's you gotta actually grow up and be in a responsible job, having adult, and go to work every day. You gotta get up every morning. Got to go to bed early every night, and and just come home and mow the yard, stuff like stuff that normal stuff you used to hear people say about all the time. You had no idea what they're talking about. Yeah, that's what I do now.
Well, I know how you got started and everything, but for the viewers and everybody, tell us how you kind of got started into the bull riding and got going.
Well, bull riding, for some stupid reason, was something I wanted to do since I was just a little bitty baby. I can remember in kindergarten, teacher asked you to paint a color picture of what you want to be when you grew up. Everybody put, fireman, doctor, stuff like. I painted a bull rider, and I have not, from the time I was 5, 6 years old till I was 18 and graduated. That's all I wanted to do. That was it. I knew exactly what I wanted to do when I was in kindergarten, and that's what I did. Nothing else. Nothing else mattered. So
that's good. Well, where'd you get on your first one at?
In Yoakum, Texas.
Yeah.
I started out, I was running barrels, roping calves, stuff like that. I was probably 5, 6 years old.
So you started out as a barrel racer.
Oh yeah, I was a big
You
barrel
don't
racer.
get that story very much. These top bull riders starting out as barrel racers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the stay on jug. You had to be able to ride a little bit to stay on jug. Anyway, they got finished running barrels and they were roping steers and stuff, and they run a few steers in there, and I was sitting on the fence, and next thing I knew, my uncle Carly and Craig, they grabbed me and threw me on the back of a steer, and I was screaming and crying like a little girl, and they said, "I thought you wanted to be a bull rider." I said, "Yeah, well, I do." "Well, here's your chance." So I just, all right, let's do this. So I nodded my head and never looked back.
Yeah. And did you high school rodeo any or just?
Oh yeah. I rodeoed, like I said, from the time I was a little bitty kid up right all through high school, junior high school, and all that. And I worked every event growing up. Big time, of course, down in South Texas, where I'm from, Victoria. They're big time event area. There wasn't too many rough stock riders down there. Yeah. But also, I worked bull riding and the bronc riding, in high school, and I ran barrels, roped calves. The only event I did not do growing up was bulldog. My mom told me it was too dangerous, and I couldn't bulldog. I could ride any bull, any bronc I wanted to, but bulldogging was too dangerous, and she didn't allow me to do it. So anyway, there you go.
I was wondering what the thought process of that was.
Yeah, exactly.
I have no idea. Yeah, you can go get on that big brindle over there. It's hooking everybody, but no, you're not entering the bulldog.
You're not going to enter that. You're not going to go try to take that little steer down over there.
No, you're not doing that. But I did enter the bulldogging in college when I was going to McNeese. James Boudreaux is having the McNeese college rodeo. I've never bulldogged because I wasn't allowed to. Boudreaux never bulldogged either. Of course, he's from Hackberry, Louisiana, where that's all they do is bulldog down there. And McNeese Rodeo was coming to town, and they said, "Hey, Herman, let's enter the bulldogging." And I said, what? He goes, you enter it, I'll enter it. And I said, I've never done it. He goes, I've never done it either. All right. Well, the deal was we'll enter it. Neither one of us could practice. We couldn't shoot dog. I mean, nothing. Just had to get on and do it. All right, let's do this. So I entered it. And just so happened, I was on Friday night show. I was the first Bulldogger out. I jumped on the horse, was riding in the box. Boudreaux was sitting there and was standing there, and he starts laughing. I said, what's so funny? He goes, I didn't enter. So as I was backing in, okay, so let's do this. I nodded. Probably the best thing that happened in my life. That steer stepped out there, set up, and I rode by and never looked back. So, that's my bulldogging career right there.
That's funny business right there.
I'm so happy. That steer stepped out there and set up, and I just kicked and rode, man. Let's go.
You thought it was a race to the other end. I win.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you started pro, when you went pro?
18. I turned 18 in September in '89, and that's all. I was waiting to turn 18 to buy my permit. There wasn't a PBR back then. I just had you're rodeoing.
Yeah.
But I couldn't start competing until after football season because I played high school football and also was a pole vaulter in track in high school, and I couldn't compete professionally until high school sports were over. So I had to wait till after football season. Since football season's over, I started entering rodeos. And back then, you'd enter everything that took permits, especially in Texas, but you'd enter 10 rodeos, you might get entered in one, maybe.
Yeah.
Everything was filled up. So you started entering rodeos in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Arizona, whatever took permits, you entered it. Hopefully you got into something.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way it went. I finally got into a few and filled my permit and started rodeo. Of course, I was trying to do college too at the same time. I was focused on college rodeo and all that. And I didn't really start rodeoing full time until '93, and that's when I got in with Brent Thurman, Michael Gaffney, and all those guys.
Yeah.
The next year, I made my first NFR. So
yeah,
back pretty much. They did it, They follow me, so all right. So I jumped in and went with it.
Back then, like you was saying, it was hard to get into that Texas circuit and enter rodeos around there because there was so many guys, good guys going that it was tough to keep up. It's different now. I mean, there's guys you can just go enter anywhere now. You would pick where you want to go and go.
I rode in the slack in the late '80s and '90s. I entered pro rodeos and rode in the slack, and it was full.
Yeah. Yeah, now they're begging riders to get on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing I see, like practice spins and stuff around here. They're paying guys. Hey, I'll pay you so much to get on. And back when I was in high school and stuff, we'd go out to big guards. I was at a Joaquin's place, and you'd have to pay them $10-$20 to get on a bull. Now they're trying to pay you to get on.
Yeah.
You save up your money, mowing lawns, do whatever you do all week to get up money to go get on bulls on Sunday at Big Guards' place. That's
yeah.
So.
Well, how'd you do at your first NFR? You rodeoed all year. What place did you go into the finals at? We got the NFR coming up. So
I was always a middle of the road guy. Every finals I went to, when you go into NFR, the top 5 guys get all the media. The bottom 5 guys get all the media. The guys in the middle, nobody ever talks about. That
6
was me,
through 10.
my whole career. So anyway. I was kind of the guy in the shadows.
Well, I was a little short too, and I got overlooked too.
You talk about Cody Hart. I can remember Cody Hart when I was going those. Was that the Super Bulls? Is that what they were called?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you were like what 10,
12,
and you were beating everybody at them. Yeah, I remember you.
Yeah.
So how many trips you have to the NFR?
3.
3 trips?
3 trips.
3. I went 94, 95, 96. I was having my best year ever. I was either winning the world or in the top 5 all year long. Over the 4th, I dislocated my elbow. Took me out the rest of the season. I still finished right outside top 15. 97, I was with rodeoing with Aaron Seamus. and we was saying, let's just go to all the cups and all the bigger rodeos. Let's see if we can make it, not go into every single thing. So that's what we did, and got to the end of the year. It got to right before the Cow Palace, right before the end of the year. Me, Aaron, and Tough were like either right outside top 15 or right in the top 15. And I was going everywhere. I was going to places I didn't even know existed. I mean, he was going everywhere. And Tough was on the phone the whole time to the Cow Palace. Hey, did such and such rise? Because it all depended on what happened at the Cow Palace, whether we can make it or not. And we was somewhere. I don't even know where he was at. We was somewhere in Washington, Northwest somewhere. And I just placed in that rodeo, won a little bit of money. And Tough had it all figured out by the end of the rodeo. He finished 16th. I finished 17th. Aaron finished 20th. So neither one of us made it. Anyway, that was 97. 98, I was plumb pissed off. I said, I'm going back to the finals. So I went again in 98. I finished in the top 5 that year. So, and then after 98, the Monday finals ended on a Sunday in 98. Monday, I got married. 9 months later after that, I had my first kid. I said, I'm just going to the Cups,
Yeah.
Stayed home, being a family man, everything. Just going through the Cups. And then I went on the summer run, every year. But
yeah. That's what I liked about the PBR, because I tried to do a little pro rodeo, and it was kind of when PBR and PRCA was having their pissing contest. And I chose the PBR, and because I'm more of a homebody. I like to stay at home, and at least back then, PBR, you knew where you was going 2 or 3 months ahead of time if you was healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
And you could get them cheaper flights and get in and get out of there a little better. And you got on better bulls back then than you did in PRCA most of the time.
I'll tell you what, when I started rodeo, I got in with Brent and Michael and Randy Thornton and Dax Lackey and all those guys. We rodeoed. I had to supply the van. That was the deal. They let me rodeo with them if I bought a van. So anyway, I bought a van. And we went, and man, we went and went and went, and that was probably some of the funnest I've had. Just steadily going all the time, getting on whatever, wherever, and that was pretty cool.
So you made the NFR what, 3 times? You said?
Yeah.
And how many times did you make the PBR finals?
14.
14 times.
Yeah.
14 times is a big show.
Yeah.
What was the last year you went?
The last year I went?
Yeah.
I'm not even 100% sure. I'm thinking 2010, 11, something like that. I was 40 years old.
Wow.
I knew that much. I was 40 years old, and I was all right, what am I supposed to try to ride tonight? All right. What time's the show over? It's way past my bedtime.
Yeah, man, I got to go.
Especially when you get older and you're used to getting up early. When you're in Vegas, and Cody, you might, well, maybe not. Probably you don't, but older guys will. You're up at like 3 in the morning, down there drinking coffee, looking at Razor sitting still at the card table. You're having breakfast,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there's been many a time I've left midnight, 1 o'clock, left Razor at the gambling tables and went up the room and got up the next morning, come back, and he's sitting in the same chair.
Oh, yeah, sitting in the same spot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You go in there, have your breakfast, drink coffee. See you later.
What's the highest you finished in the PBR World Finals?
In the top 10, probably. I was around a long time because that's all I could do. I was never really a threat, to be honest with you. I mean, I wasn't. I look back at it now. I mean, yeah, I could ride, but as far as being a threat for a world title in the PBR, I never got that far. So I just couldn't. They bucked too hard. When you get to the PBR finals, every round's getting on the short round bull. And that's what I always had problems with, is riding the short round bulls. And now, I can ride in first round, second round bulls. Oh, yeah, running short round bulls in there. That's where I ran in.
Yeah, you better get them in them long rounds before the short round comes around. No, I've seen you ride quite a few good ones, though.
I rode a few, yeah. They jumped under me a couple times when I wasn't expecting it.
Wow. Well, I tell you what, we're going to get back to more with Brian Herman here in just a minute when we get a word from our great sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Dennis Davis Bucking Bulls, Lorick Ranch, Sutherland Logistics, Blake Skaggs Bucking Bulls, Print and Stitch Company, Benchmark Custom Buckles and Western Jewelry, SK Leather, Kirk Martin Logging, The Hat Shack, and Cactus Rodeo.
So what's one of the funniest stories you got about Cody?
Oh, my.
Oh,
What's-
my God.
Yeah.
That you can tell on air.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing that always Cody was so great. I mean, that was some of the best of my PBR years was rooming with Cody. There was always something going on. You know, and Cody was Cody. I mean, it was awesome. You know, the Fritos story. And Cody knows the Fritos.
I do know the Fritos. I've told Briar a couple times, but I said we got to get Pee Wee to tell the Fritos.
Hey, how about the wheel in the sky keeps on turning?
Oh, geez.
The ringtone. He wanted to take my phone and throw it out the hotel.
Mama was trying to get a hold of him now.
The Fritos story, that was back when Fritos would bring in cases of queso and cases of bean dip and Fritos, and that was for the contestants to enjoy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd always grab a bag of Fritos, can of queso, can of bean dip, and I'd take it home to the kids, and they could not wait for me to get home on Sundays because I'd have their Fritos and bean dip and cheese dip, you know, queso and all that, you know. And anyway, I had an early flight Sunday morning, and so I stayed in the room that night, and Cody come back from wherever he went, and
I was out at the bar. I
heard boys over there at the table, and Cody, he opened up my bag of Fritos and my bean dip and my queso and was eating it all. And I said, Cody, I said, that's for my kids. You know, I can't tell you what he told me, but
yeah, you can.
It was really funny. Anyway, I had all the bean dip was gone. Maybe half a can of queso and half a bag of Fritos to bring back to the kids. Anyway, I told him Cody ate the rest of it.
Yeah. But to be honest,
there
was
a little bit more happened, but I'm not going to mention. That's about as far as we're going to go with this story.
I know the finer details, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
But what he's not saying is it wasn't one bag of chips and it wasn't one bag of little bean dip. He had a backpack, and he would go in the locker room and just throw all them little single bags and all the little bean dips and cheese dip in there and fill it up. I didn't eat all of it. I just had a bag, a couple bags and a couple, you know. I didn't eat all of it.
Well, that was for the plane ride home. You take off and lean your seat back. You get out your bean dip and you that's for that 2 or 3 hour flight home. Well,
yeah. Yeah, I got in trouble over the bean dip. Fritos.
Yeah.
When did y'all start traveling or rooming together?
It was, I was probably almost at the end of my career, maybe. Well, in the middle of my career. I was probably in my mid-30s, probably.
Probably like
Cody had already been world champion, did what he did.
06, 07, somewhere in there maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Like that. You know, Cody was Cody. He was the man, you know, and it was just really, really great to room with him and travel with him and get to know him as well as I did. So.
Well, I got to say the same thing. If it hadn't been for you, I think I'd I don't know. You kind of kept me a little straight there a little while, but we did get into a little mischief throughout the time. We had some fun.
Yeah.
What kind of mischief?
What kind of mischief?
There was that time I got caught on the wrong side of a big fence I couldn't crawl over. But anyway.
Okay, come on.
It was a really tall chain link fence I was trying to crawl over to get to Cody, and I couldn't do it. I didn't know if maybe we needed to tunnel under it. find a way around or crawl over. I can't remember what exactly was going on.
I can't either, but I remember you on the other side of the
I
fence.
remember that though. I was screaming, "Cody, hang on that fence. Dig a hole underneath. I'll just crawl under."
Well, honestly, this is here. I think this is how we got to. I think I remember how we got to rooming together, and we went to the PBR was going to Nampa or somewhere, and we get up to Nampa, and I go to check in my room, and the hotel says, "You're already checked in." I said, "What do you mean?"
I remember this. Yeah.
I said, "What do you mean?" And they go, "Yeah, your wife's already checked in." I said, "Excuse me? My wife dropped me off at the airport in DFW a couple hours ago." And it was, I went and checked the room, and there was this crazy lady in there, and I was like, no way, I ain't staying in this sucker. And Pee-wee come in to check in. He was on the same flight, I think. And I said, "Hey, Pee-wee, me and you got the room up together, buddy. Anybody staying with you? Because if so, if not, I'm with you." And I think that's kind of how we got started. And they wound up kicking her out of the room.
I remember that girl. She would hang out there in the Northwest. It was up in the Northwest somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she would.
Psycho.
Yeah, and she was like a psycho PBR fan.
Well, later that year, she caught a bus from who knows where and went all the way down to DeKalb, Texas, and hitchhiked over to Mike White's house.
Mike White's house. I remember that.
Yeah, that's the same crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
What the heck?
Yeah. And I think Mike White's wife about whooped her butt and kicked her off the place, called the cops, had her arrested, whole deal, get her out of there. Yeah. And
she was probably the big reason why I never become a big star in the PBR, because I didn't want her showing up down in Victoria. I didn't need that in my life.
We went to Bismarck up there after right before the Mike White deal. She did. We got to Bismarck up there. Chad's big term pros he had up there, and she kept running around there saying she's Lane Frost's daughter. And I knew then she was a Looney Tune. I mean, the cheese has slid right off her damn cracker now.
I was at Polky's. We was all at Polky's, and I think she tried to show up there, and we ran her off from there too.
Yeah. Yeah, she flat scared me in Nampa, and that's why I started staying with Pee-wee. I said, "You got to protect me, old man."
Like that movie, The Number One Fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is Pee-wee the one that made you wear or put the tampons in your pocket?
Well, who made that
you?
was the funny thing. Pee-wee did that, I guess, who was you rodeoing with when that got started? The tampon in the pocket trick.
I actually got that trick from Sean Egg is where I got that trick. But that was way before. That was way before.
Yeah.
I cannot remember. I don't remember where that came from. It might have had something to do with Joaquin. And we all got that from Sean Egg. But anyway, that's where Sean Egg originated.
Yeah. The rule was if you was rodeoing together and you went by this rule, whoever placed last or didn't win anything had to put a box of Tampax in your front pocket, and you had to wear it everywhere until you beat somebody, and then they took it over.
Yeah,
that make you try a little harder.
Herman had a little bit to do with that also. I remember that in the van with those guys. Yeah, I believe that originated from Sean Egg though, way back in the day. So
yeah. Well,
he'd wear one tied around his hat band. He'd tied around his hat band, and that's how it started. And I asked him about it, and he told me about it, and then we was kind of traveling together, so it kind of went that way. And luckily, I don't remember. I probably did, but I didn't remember tying one to my hat band. But I probably had to.
That's pretty good stuff.
That string that hangs. Yeah.
Yeah.
It flaps around like a feather. The feathers from Oklahoma guys.
How'd you get in the bull riding? Well, I pulled some strings.
But it was a tampon. Instead of a feather, it was a tampon.
So, what was did you win that? Did you ever win the average at the NFR or place pretty high in the average there? Or?
Yeah, I place. I think I place in top 5. And always place at the bottom, pretty much. The only average I actually ever won, I won Texas Circuit Finals in '94. I won the average there. I won the circuit that year. Won the average at the Touring Pro Finals one year. Then ended up winning Touring Pro.
The one in Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, for a guy that never won any average in his life, I went up there and won like every round. I won every round.
What year was that?
I guess you win. All right.
Thank you.
What year was that? Do you remember?
98, I think.
98.
Yeah, it was like I stuck my hand in a rope and nodded, and I couldn't do anything wrong. I wasn't even trying anymore. I'd win the round. Then all right, I'd win the next round. I won the next round. Yeah, whatever.
I didn't ride a single bull up there that year. I remember that was a picture of me on Dr. Dre, and when I got off of him, I really thought about maybe quitting. He drilled me so freaking hard. You remember that Dr. Dre, that Jerome Hall?
You should have watched me. I'd have showed you how to do it.
That weekend, I'm sure.
So why at 40 did you decide to retire? You think you were too old, or
because I was 40?
just because you was 40?
Because I was 40. Because I was 40, and my kids were getting older, and well, I just got done breaking my neck, and then I thought, oh, broken neck, that ain't too big a deal. So I come back after that, and then I got my face smushed. And I said, you know what? this is I'm 40. My kids are getting older. My boy was wanting to start youth football. I wanted to coach his football team, and I just and for me to do that, I'd have to be there, and it just all of a sudden bull riding was something from the time I was a little kid till the time I was 40. I lived it and breathed it every second of the day. And then this is a funny story. When I quit, everybody asked me, Pee-wee, when are you going to quit? I don't know if they was just asking or they was saying, hey, you need to quit one or two. Anyway, I'd say, you know what? I'm not going to, say, oh, at the end of this year, I'm retiring. No, I was just going to get up one day and just not want to do it anymore,
Yeah.
And I was in Anaheim, and I was rooming with Wiley Peterson at the time, and we got up that morning, and I looked at Wiley. He was already up drinking coffee, and I said, Wiley. He goes, what, Pee-wee? He goes, I quit. He goes, what? Quit what? I quit riding. He goes, shut up. He thought I was joking. I said, nope. Luckily, I bucked off my first bull. Luckily, the bull in the second round. It was one of them that was real easy but looked hard and you can be a bunch of points on, Had him, and he did right there around left. I was like 88 points, something on like that. One maybe second in the round, but that wasn't enough to get the short round, so I was done. Quit. So Wiley, I said, this is my last bull, but only because this one's easy. If this one would have been hard to ride, I probably wouldn't even got on it. I probably got caught a flight that morning. But I said, all right, I can get by this one. I did. I won like second round. Next flight, I said, all right, I'm done. I flew back to Victoria, and bull riding was. I had to control myself from taking my bag, hat, boots, buckles, everything, and throw it in the big old burn pile, and burn it. 'Cause I was done. I was completely done with it. So
you don't have none of that stuff no more?
Well, I did when Peyton started riding. Luckily, Peyton was a lot taller than I was and bigger than I was. So at a very young age, he can fit into my stuff. So he took about everything, and what he didn't use, he gave to his friends, and for them to use. So I still got a little bit of. I kept some chaps, some vests. They're up in the attic. I don't know where they're at. They're up there somewhere. But anyway, I gave about all my equipment to Peyton, and actually his rigging bag is still under his bed. It's he got my spurs rope. He got my spurs, boots, chaps, everything he had still zipped up. Actually, it's not under the bed. It's thrown in the corner, the last place he threw it. Still sitting right there like it never left. you go into his room, it looks like the last time, just like the last time he left it.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed. So
Yeah.
But you hadn't left it. You're still judging some rodeos and judging some events. And
when they call me, there at one time, I wanted to judge. I started judging a little bit, and I got real interested in doing like the ABBI, the bull things, judging those young bulls and stuff. I really like doing that, watching those young bulls try to buck. And
Yeah.
and then with my job being a landman, there's no telling where I got to be, when I got to be there. It got to where that they could call me, hey, can you judge a still on the fourth or the fifth, something. Oh yeah, and then a week or so when it comes to it, I can't make it. I just couldn't commit to anything because of my job.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was going to be available or not, and I couldn't turn down a judging job for my real job. So had to do one or the other. So I stuck with the real job.
Took the real job.
Yeah, the real job. That's what I'm doing. Just the real job.
Yeah.
But it's pretty where we're living now. We moved up to North Texas, and
Godly.
Naps is 25, 30 minutes down the road. I go to Naps sometime on Wednesdays and Sundays and watch buck bulls and help kids out there and stuff.
Yeah.
That's about it. About all I do.
Do you miss it?
That is a very, very hard question because
No, I promised you I wouldn't ask you any stupid questions, but I'm asking you.
I know it. I absolutely. I don't watch it on TV. I barely keep up with it unless it just is in my face. I don't know what's going on. Who the last world champion is? I don't know I don't know anything about it. I just blocked it completely out of my mind. I don't even keep up with it, but I do think about it every single day, pretty much predominantly throughout the day.
So you basically don't watch it to keep from wanting it.
Fiending.
Yeah,
Is that kind of a defense mechanism type deal?
I don't know. It's just, that's something I poured my whole life into, and then watched Peyton try to do it. And then when Peyton left us, once he left, it just kind of left a big, kind of like a hole in my life. I just didn't want to, I really don't want anything to do with it. I don't, but I still think about it and still love it, every day. I just don't care about it as much as I used to,
Right.
So that's kind of, like I said, that's kind of a hard question. So,
because I miss it. I miss it. I wished I could go back and do it all over again. Not that I would change hardly anything, but just I miss that thrill, that the smell of the hooves coming down the alleyway, the smell of the burning of the rosin, the dusty, dirty locker rooms, the camaraderie between the guys back there. That's what I miss the most. And then that feeling right before you're fixing to nod. You've already taken your wrap and you're sliding up, and that moment just before you nod your head and all hell breaks loose. I miss that point right there.
That, man, hanging out behind the chutes, this is before the PBR, like, when you used to hang out behind the chute. The smell of diesel, the tractor, smell of diesel and the smell of manure and dirt and all that. And all your buddies, and man, that's just, you can't beat that. Especially like when we're rodeo and you're talking to other, the bareback riders, bronc riders down there, and everybody's got a story. Everybody's talking, it's like one big family. And like you said, man, when you hear them slide gates start rolling and bulls start running through there and a bunch of bells ringing and all that, oh man, it's getting my heart pumping right now, and just, and you go in there and there's big arena and a lot of people there. And I remember like Coy Huffman, Pee-wee, you're next. Oh, okay. Or Benny Butler, whoever, getting on here. So, all right, let's do this. And all of a sudden, it's as crazy it is, and Cody, you can tell, as crazy as everything is, you're like just calm, It's like calm inside. It's a calm, crazy,
all hell's fixing to break loose, and it's the calm before the storm, and
Yeah, and it's funny. Like I used to tell kids all the time. Before like at the PBR and stuff, there's a lot of loud music, lights, and crowd, and all this kind of stuff, and all this noise is going on. But the only thing you can hear is your buddy next to you who's pulling your rope.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hear anything else. You're just so focused, on what you're doing. You can't hear the music. You can't hear the crowd. Like, don't the crowd pump you up? Well, yeah, when I'm paying attention to them. I mean, it does.
When I get off.
Yeah. When I get off and stayed on, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that pumps me up.
I get off if they're cheering loud. How loud they're cheering tells me how good a ride it was.
Or how loud they're booing. Yeah, that's usually my deal. Cody Lambert always made fun of me. He goes, Pee Wee, I was in Napa or Boise or one of the Idaho ones. And he goes, Pee Wee, you're the only guy I ever knew that was 90 and got booed.
Now I got to know this story.
I was 90 and got booed. What it was is they had the write-off. I guess it might have been the Pemmican deal, or I can't remember when the leader, whoever won the round, got to get on another.
Mossy Oak shootout.
What was that, Mossy Oak?
Yeah,
I guess. Anyway, if you won the first round, you got to get on another one. And Corey Rash was 90 something. I mean, he rode a bull, just kind of leaped in there and turned back. It was an exciting ride. And he was 90, I guess. And I was one of the last guys out. And Corey was supposed to win the round, and I jumped out there and rode the bull. I was like 91. And they marked me over Cody, and I got booed. They marked me over Corey. I got booed for beating Corey for being 91. I got booed. Anyway.
What did you ride to Mossy Oak?
I don't remember. I'm going to probably say no, but I might have. My track record, I'm going to say no, but being that nobody remembers or hopefully nobody looks it up, I'm going to say yeah.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, I won a bunch. Oh, I won a bunch of money that night.
Yeah. See, PBR says they didn't keep very good records. So back then, you rode him.
No, yeah, I rode him.
Yeah, you rode him.
Yeah.
Damn right. I pulled your rope. You rode him.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Well, what do you miss about it the most?
I miss. It's funny because I felt more at home in airport terminals.
That's true.
It's funny. That is so funny. But I spent so much time in airports.
Yeah.
Like I can sit there and I can point out the newbies. The people who don't fly much. You can point them out like, and just watching people in the airports hanging out, and just, okay, I got a 5, 6, 7, 8 hour layover. Okay. Just sitting back watching the screens,
You can see all walks of people in the airport.
But looking back at it, that's one of the things I miss, just always going somewhere, and going and meeting new people. Always like to go where, like when PBR comes to town, there was certain places that, were PBR hosts. And so I like going where nobody went, places where other people, where nobody went, and there I was in my hat and boots. Oh, you're with the rodeo, you're at the bull riding, and you meet so many people, and then you bring, oh, well, yeah, we're going to come tonight, and it's, other than, just meeting just town, normal people, in the city, where we're at,
Yeah, because PBR, they kind of went, they would stay with, they would always go to, Uncasville, Connecticut, or Greensboro, or Charlotte, or all them big cities. Every year you'd go back to the same spot. But in between, back then, they had some turn pros and stuff. They had that 3-month break there in the 4th of July run. You could hit some turn pros. And I had never even heard of the damn place. Tityute, Pennsylvania, went up there to turn pro, and man, met a lot of good people up there, and a lot of them rodeos and stuff. And then I'd always go to Bo Davis's run down there in South Texas. He'd have Wimberley, Giddings, Bastrop, all them, and hit all them down there.
That one summer we went, we got the motorhome, or the Winnebago. I don't know if y'all remember that story.
No.
Me, JB, Canner, Luke. Who else was with it? Pistol. I think Willingham. There was like 4 or 5 of us. We rented an RV. We left Luke's house, and we made like a big circle around the United States in this RV. And it got to where at one time MTV was following us. We had a cameraman in the RV. This was a big RV, like I could barely, if I stretch out my arms, I could barely reach both ends of the steering wheel, and I had to drive sometimes. well, until Cheyenne, Casey Hayes was hurt, but he flew to Cheyenne just to get in the RV to be our driver. That's what he did. Anyway, but MTV was with us. We had a cameraman in the RV with us and just filming everything, and that come out. And a couple people seen it, it came out. And my little boy was watching, Peyton was watching it one time. He goes, Dad, I only seen you a few times. I said, there's a reason for that. I said, because I was with all them idiots. I said, when the camera was rolling, I was usually standing behind that guy. I didn't want to have anything to do with what was going on. We was somewhere in Kansas, Missouri, or something like that. And it was after the bull riding, and we at a barbecue place. We all went and ate, and there was a Walmart right there, and we was having an all-night drive to somewhere else. And it was Casey Hayes was with us, and he goes, after we leave here, I'm going to show y'all the Walmart beer trick. All right. So we went into Walmart. Walmart was right across the parking lot. A bunch of us went into Walmart, and JB and Casey, they got a shopping cart, and they went to the beer section. They loaded that thing up with cases of beer. I mean, as much as fit in there. Went to the self-checkout, and they got that 1 6-pack, not the case, the 6-pack. Tore back the handle and turned one barcode right there and scanned that 7 or 8 times, however many cases we had there. And that lady was sitting there watching us. And we got all that for one 6-pack. We got all that. Yeah, it was. I can't remember how it went because didn't have anything to do with it. I was standing behind the camera. But anyway, yeah, I don't think you can get away with it now. But you can pull back the tab. You turn one beer to where the barcode's showing and scan that one beer, and it'll charge you for just that one beer. No matter if you had a case or a 6-pack, whatever, just charge you for the one. It don't work. I don't think it works anymore, but Casey Hayes, it worked for him that night.
No, them Walmart greeters tackle you nowadays.
Yeah.
And she was standing right there. She didn't. I mean, it was not a big deal at all. She didn't even question.
What did she look like? Was somebody trying to flirt with her?
She cared really. Anyway,
She was just there for a check.
Anyway, we got back in RV and continued our travel around the country, and pretty much. It was interesting though.
I would have been a fun little ride to be on. I bet that would have been.
Would have been a
that's
fun
where
trip.
I got my name went from Pee Wee to Grumpy Grandpa is what they call me. Well, by then I was already in my later 30s, and I had a kid. I got 2 kids, and now I got like 10 kids I had to look after. Those guys pick up after yourself. Make your bed. Come on. Come on, guys. We were actually living in this motorhome. Take care of it. It was hard. They started calling me Grumpy Grandpa.
Wow.
Excuse me. I'm surprised they didn't kick you out.
No, they couldn't. They couldn't kick me out.
No, they needed parental guidance. They had to have somebody
Yeah,
there.
They needed me in there. Yeah. I was the only one that had any sense. I'm the only one that had any sense in the whole RV.
That's surprising. After some of mine of your escapades, that was a train wreck, buddy.
Yeah, well, like I said, I was a grown, mature, 30-something-year-old man. I was the elder. I was the elder of the bunch. I don't even know what I was, but anyway, that's what I was.
But it's all about the story. You know what I mean? That's just something that was pretty cool. Well, with all your career in the rodeo, what is the memory you remember the most that you're the most proud of?
Oh, wow. That's another hard question.
Yes, sir.
I did actually, I hate to say it, but I did achieve a little bit, and I did get some recognition and all that, which that ain't for some, like I was telling earlier, that don't really mean that much to me anymore. Like I very seldom even wear a trophy buckle anymore, or a hat, or boots, or anything. It's just the people like being here, seeing Cody, talking to you guys. That's what I like
memories.
about it.
The memories is what you like about it.
The memories, man. And being a landman, I got to travel a lot. People I work with don't understand how I know somebody everywhere I go. It don't matter where I go. I know somebody around there. Like when they sent me to Ohio that time, I knew people there. I could call them. I hung out with them all the time. I knew somebody. I know somebody everywhere.
Yeah.
All over the United States, Canada, Brazil, Australia. I could go there. I'll know somebody. That's pretty awesome.
That's like JD Nix. We had him on the other day, and he said, the things and the relationships and stuff that he had made throughout his rodeo career and everything he's done in the sport. He said if he was homeless and needed a place to stay, it didn't matter where he was in the world, he could make one phone call and have a place to stay.
And have somebody. Yeah. Exactly. That rodeo world, that bull riding world is, man, it's a pretty tight group, and I wouldn't, any of these guys need anything. They know I got people that come through here all the time. Hey, Pee Wee, I'm around. They come to the house. Clayton Fultine got a room in my house.
Oh man, I bet he don't pick up after himself either.
Yeah, Cody Custer has. It's Clayton's room. Anybody that comes, but it's supposed to be designated Clayton's room. But anybody else can stay there too if they want to.
Oh, Clayton 14. That's a dandy there. Him and Lane.
Yeah, everybody. And like I live down the road from Turnbow. Turnbow's right down the road. I talked to him, and Aaron Seamus don't live too far. And I talked to Aaron quite a bit. Ran into Philip Elkins the other day. Oh, my God.
Wow.
Me, Aaron, and Philip Elkins went and seen Great Divide a couple months ago. It's just we hadn't seen each other in so long. And, we showed up and, hey, let's go see Great Divide. All right. So we went and seen them. And, it's just that kind of camaraderie.
Yeah.
It's just awesome. And it's funny because I hadn't seen, like, Philip Elkins. I ain't seen Philip Elkins in years. Yeah. And when I met up with him, it was like it was yesterday. Yeah. We just picked right up our last conversation. It was.
That's the great thing. That's I was fixing to say, because you probably ain't seen them in years, but you see them and then you just pick up like y'all never left. It was just right where you left off.
Like when you called me, like I hadn't heard from you in a long time, and you called me, a couple months ago or later this summer, and we just started talking. We talked for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And we haven't spoken in years.
Yeah. Not just by the, I don't know. I just you got to working and I was a working, and that's the thing. Yeah. You quit riding and everybody's got to go like you said, being a damn adult and go do something. And it's always, I always enjoy it when paths come back and cross again. And
oh yeah, it's pretty awesome when you run into somebody and get to spend time with them and talk to them like this, like what we're doing now. I mean, it's all, I've been looking forward to this all day.
Well, we got to get you up to come play some daggum golf one day. You're not working or something. I need to. Well,
my slice came back.
Uh-oh.
So work on that.
Yeah, mine never left. It's still there.
Let me work on that, and we need to go out. Last time we talked, we was gonna go somewhere and play. I can't remember where it was.
Yeah. And then you got called out to work, and we couldn't get it done.
Yep. That's every time I plan something, can't make it. So.
I know the feeling.
Just part of it.
That's it.
Well, Pee Wee, thank you. Thank you so much for being on the show. We appreciate you. It's been a blast visiting, hearing some of the old stories. That's my favorite part of this entire show, was hearing the old stories and the things I missed when I was coming up. And so we thank you for being a part of the show. We thank you guys for tuning in, and also don't forget about checking us out of all of our social media platforms. Check us out, give us a like, give us a view, share with your friends, and we'll see you soon.